Thompson Bowling Arena tonight. Don't care what they say. We're rolling with that.
Props to the people who made it out, though. I mean,
serious.
it was louder than I expected it to be.
Oh, for sure. I'm curious what it sounds like. A lot of people were upset with this student section, but like you said, it was pretty loud. I honestly expected that to be, you're hearing the floor squeaks and you're hearing everything Rick Barnes says kind of night, and it wasn't that. So yeah, definitely props. And it was worth it. It was worth the trip. I thought about heading down there when it looked like Dalton Connect was going to have the kind of night he ended up having.
Yeah, in the first half when that started, when it started falling for him, I was like, man, what a night to be there. Worth it. Worth getting stuck in the snow for a little bit.
His first points were absolutely electric. If I don't know if we need to go back for everybody. I don't know if we recall. There were a lot of points. I don't know if you remember. Don't quite know how he got to that rebound to then put it back. His athleticism he's a freak. He's a freak athlete.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a baller, and like his adjustment at the rim, and like obviously he has one of the best shooting strokes that we've probably ever seen. But like his ability to get to the rim and then adjust at the rim and take on big defenders is all time.
Yeah, and his performance was so impressive tonight that it has overshadowed another stellar performance from Jonas Adu, who got a double-double.
Yeah, he's just doing kind of everything for you, cleaning it up, blocking shots. And like he just seems to always be active, and then he's always able to, like, he gives people, he doesn't just crowd the lane. Like if people are driving in, he'll like step out and he's able to knock down those shots where people have to defend it. So yeah, he's just been a difference maker for Tennessee so far this season.
Yeah, and I know he's had some games where he hadn't quite looked as good as he did tonight, and what's kind of starting to become himself, like what we're getting from Jonas Adu night in and night out. But man, when he's good, it's huge for Tennessee. Early on, he kind of was the only consistent one. You had obviously Connect was pretty consistent the whole night, but it felt like only Jonas Adu's shots were consistently falling early on. I thought that was huge. Tennessee got out to a lead and seemed to never relinquish it and just built on it. And obviously it exploded when Dalton Connect exploded there late in the first half. And I think that's even Tennessee kind of went through some quiet. I don't know what their longest slump was tonight. It wasn't 6 minutes like it was the other night. But they had a slump, and good defense overcame it. Florida never had an answer for Tennessee tonight. It was quite fun to watch for someone who hates Florida with the passion that I hate Florida with.
Yeah, it looked like they were done early. They
didn't want to be there, and I don't blame them. This had to be a miserable trip.
Yeah, and probably then have a guy drop 39 on you.
Yeah, probably had to circle McGee Tyson a little bit yesterday evening. Wait for the all clear to land. Probably slow getting to the hotel this morning. You step outside to get on the bus, and you just don't get fired up to play. Even though you're playing inside, you don't get fired up to play when you've got to leave your nice warm hotel room to get out in these conditions, and then, like you said, just to have that happen, you're like, all right, let's get back to sunny Florida now. This is over. This is done with.
They're like, why did we even leave in the first?
I thought this game probably should have been one of those that got postponed due to a lot of factors, and man, am I glad it didn't. We talk about weird home games. This is a Florida team that at home took Kentucky to the wire. Not a great Florida team by any means, but not a bad Florida team. This is not a bad basketball team. And I was worried that we wouldn't have the weird home factor that weeknight SEC games have because of the weather, keeping people away. It wouldn't be the home court advantage that makes it weird like that. But I think you did just see kind of who's the better basketball team. There wasn't much weirdness involved other than I don't know. Did Florida have any trouble traveling? We didn't hear of any.
I didn't hear any.
Okay, so yeah, we just saw two good basketball teams then square up, and you saw who was better. No weird involved.
I mean, it was just start to finish all Tennessee, and that's what I liked about it. I liked how the end, we're just trying to get Dalton Connect to 40 points. Wasn't able to get there, but I just love the fact that we were beating Florida so bad where the focus was all on Dalton Connect.
I would like to protest that a little bit. Guys, let's take a step back. He got to 39 points without us forcing the ball to him. Just play ball. Guys, it's Dalton Connect. He'll get his. You don't have to worry about him scoring the basketball. He will score the basketball. Just also, play ball.
I'm not a huge fan of just keeping him out there just to keep him out there. Like, I feel like we could have got him out of the game a lot.
You start sweating injury, but I'm with Rick there. Like, you're that close. Let's go get 40.
Yeah.
But again, we don't have to force the ball to him. You play ball, let him he'll get rebounds, he'll get putbacks if necessary. Just play basketball. If they decide to triple team Dalton Connect the rest of the night, then let them, and let other guys score. Let other guys have their moment.
I mean, that's the big thing with Connect is there's not a weakness. Like, it's not like you can just foul him and get him to the free throw line like you can like other bigs in the country. He was 9 for 9 from the free throw line. He can shoot threes. Again, get to the rim, dribble. He can pull up. I mean, there's no weakness to his game, and I think a lot of that is just I mean, they talked about it a billion times. He's just living in the gym. So I think it goes to show his work ethic, but also he's just a dog.
Yeah, I don't think this is a hot take. You can push back here if you'd like. In my lifetime that I remember UT basketball, I'm 28 years old, almost 29. He's by far and away, in my opinion, the most dynamic offensive player Tennessee's had. He's the best all-around offensive player Tennessee's had.
And I don't think it's close.
I don't know if it's close either. There are guys that are better at certain things than he is. Mm-hmm. But in terms of being able to score on every inch of the floor, being able to get to the basket almost at will, being able to play off the dribble, being able to catch and shoot, being able to he runs around like Vescovi did. Remember that I think it was his first year, where you were asking, when is he going to get tired? Just sprinting around the court. He continually moves. His feet are rarely still. He's just an all-around good basketball player, and in my opinion, the best offensive player in totality, best offensive player that Tennessee's had that I know of, that I've watched with my own two eyes. Tennessee's had a lot of good offensive basketball players. You heard several mention tonight as he stacked up records. Allen Houston, Chris Lofton. Who else, was there anyone else thrown in there, or was it just those two guys that he was chasing?
I mean, Grant Williams was on.
Grant Williams was on that 40-point. Grant Williams is another great example of who was better around the rim than Dalton Connect. But when you factor in everything else Dalton Connect does, it's not even close.
Yeah.
And I just don't know who else you can be. Kevin Punter was mentioned because he had 3 games. He had 85 points, I believe, 84 points. Mm-hmm. Great basketball. He was a byproduct of just some really bad basketball teams too. He
was all they had.
Yeah, he suffered of not being on good basketball teams. Good player, just not as good as Dalton Connect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just a dude, and they're gonna go as far as Dalton Connect will take them.
Yeah, and we've talked about this after the Mississippi State game, really, when we were upset, which it is one of those things. Now we have people talking national championship again after just last Tuesday melting down. Now we're back to this could be a national championship team for some people. This team's really good, and they've got a dominant guy on the ball, and that's huge. That'll be huge down the stretch. We talked about finding someone else to support him. Last Tuesday it was Zakiah. Today it was Jonas Adu. I'm trying to even remember who it was against Georgia now. Was it Zakiah again?
Yeah. And Adu had a good game in that one too.
Okay.
So it's been those 3 guys pretty much since SEC play started.
Yeah. And but if you keep getting 25-point games, I don't need 39 every night from
And you got
from
really
Dalton
good
Knecht.
minutes from others. You got JP Estrella had 7 points. Josiah Jordan-James only shot 3 times. One was a big 3.
It's 7 rebounds.
7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, a block in there. Santi was kind of in foul trouble, didn't really do a whole lot. I just think like I hope this is true. I hope those two guys are just waiting until maybe Dalton Knecht has an off night.
Yeah.
And they're there.
And I think offensively, point wise, they're between the two of them, they shot 8 times.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you'd still like their percentage to be higher, but they only shot 8 times. Vescovi, one of his, a really dumb play that I'm sure he got fouled on and didn't get called. That's another thing, dude. Dalton Knecht gets absolutely just
obliterated,
throttled, and nothing. Yeah. And then you get that soft. JP Estrella's in the game for a minute. He touches a guy, and they gets a foul. That seriously might be the softest basketball foul I've ever seen in my entire life. They're like, he put his hands on him. I was like, he barely touched him, if he touched him at all. That was bad. Oh, also that tripping call.
I didn't get to see that. I had to step out of the room for a second.
It was coming off a screen. It was a kind of a mayhem at the top of the key, and the guy starts falling back. Him and Awaka kind of get tied up. Both of them start falling backwards. Maybe he trips over Awaka on the way down, but Awaka didn't kick out his legs to trip him, which I'm pretty sure the spirit of the tripping rule is intentional, correct?
Yeah.
Like it has to be, you have to stick your leg out, correct? Like I can't get knocked down, someone fall over my body, and then get called for tripping, correct?
I think that is a foul, yes.
If I'm just tied up in the lane with someone and then they run over me?
If you fall on the ground and somebody is like has the ball and goes a step on you and falls, yes, that's a foul.
Oh, I thought the spirit of the tripping rule was intentional.
Yeah, they call that. They called that, I think, today.
The guy also didn't step. He falls over Awaka's legs, but he was already falling. Him and Awaka both were falling at the same time, and they bail out a walk with a trip. Again, it's one of those. I can't remember what rule it was against Mississippi State we talked about that. I was like, if that's the spirit of the rule, the 10-second violation, that would be a baffling bad rule. Which every sport has bad rules.
Yeah, I just love this game because it was anytime Florida got a basket, Tennessee was answering.
Oh yeah,
and it's all hands. Yeah, it's all hands on deck on defense, and then you have a guy that can put up 39 points. I mean, it's really good right now. I'm riding the high, and I know was it Jimmy Dykes or Carl?
I honestly don't know who was calling it.
But it was those two guys. I can't remember which one said it, but they're like, Tennessee fans should feel differently going into March because they have a guy like Dalton Knecht. And yeah, that's true. It's got to be true.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It's
well, we also, when we get to March, we're talking ourselves to a national championship like we do every year. So
absolutely. We've talked about Tennessee with better guard play that March has had a different outlook. And I think if you look at the past 2 years where Tennessee's had better guard play, the Marches have, I know everyone's been disappointed with how they've kind of occurred, but you're also talking about last year you have a run to the Sweet 16 with a win over Duke. And then the previous March, you have a win in the SEC tournament. You have the SEC tournament championship.
Yeah.
And so the guard plays elevated Tennessee in March with Zakai Ziegler being the main focus of that. He wasn't even there last March when Tennessee played better than a typical Tennessee team under Rick Barnes. And then so you add in good guard play with Zakai, and then you give yourself a guy that is not only one of the more dynamic offensive players in Tennessee basketball history, one of the most dynamic offensive players currently in the country.
I mean, he's the best player in the country. There's no doubt about it.
I would be interested to see who's better. And I'm not talking statistically. I'm sure there's guys that run right there with him. Probably not in the last 3 games.
No.
They don't. But throughout the season. But that's also.
And I don't want to hear no Zach Edey because he's 7'7". No.
And he gets every call. Dalton Knecht can't buy a call. I don't know who his dad pissed off. What referee who's high up in the administration that she dumped in high school, but the dude can't by a foul.
Yeah.
Until late. I feel like he got a lot of whistles late. Maybe they were trying to get him to 40 points. I don't know.
51% from the field. They shot 29%. I mean, again, they just wanted no more of Tennessee defensively. They want to know more of Dalton Connect. They want to know more of the cold weather in Knoxville.
No, good riddance. You might be on the tarmac for a while tonight and get to soak in that loss. So have fun with that.
Yeah. Anything else for this game?
No, not for this game. As far as us though, guys, make sure you check out Grade A Ground. Use code GOVOLS if you want to know more about them. Listen to the rest of our episodes. But for now, go check out some of the best coffee in East Tennessee and make sure you use that promo code and then also Rowback.
Yeah, Rowback promo code More Important Issues, 20% off your first purchase. Guys, thank y'all for listening to this. This is another G10 Brake Lights, and we'll be back Saturday.
Yeah, if you're traveling tonight, and I hope you typically tune into this tonight though. Maybe focus on the road.
Yeah,
don't watch and listen to this tonight.
Yeah, just listen. You don't have to watch.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think this is one of the nights where you turn down the radio because you got to be so focused on driving. Don't listen. Listen tonight when you get home.
Yeah, there you go. Guys, thanks again. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.